we will have other bubbles.
We'll have other bubbles. I'll guarantee you.
So, with the NASDAQ up over 112% in 5 years, and the Warren Buffett indicator is at the highest level that it's ever been recorded in history, making 1999 actually look cheap. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to talk about here, and I'm just going to break it down pretty simple into four different categories. We're going to start off on valuations. We'll go into the corporate profits to see if it's actually supporting this high market valuation right now. We'll go through interest rates because interest rates are gravity on the stock market and where I think interest rates are going to go. And then we'll close out on how I really think that AI is going to materialize into this economy and into the stock market because it's not what most people think. It's not just like AI is going to make these companies way more efficient, so the share price must go up. It's not really that simple. So let's start off on valuations first. And I realize that this is the unsexy thing to talk about with the stock market because it's like, hey, just buy the hot stocks, let the momentum push these stocks higher, and we're all going to make a lot of money and kind of just forget about the valuations. But that works right now, maybe, but it's not going to work like that forever. And that's what everybody was thinking in 1999 going into that big dot-com crash that we all know happened. And then the market ended up falling like, 50% after that. So if we just compare the valuation right now versus 1999, for example, we're trading at roughly 23 times forward earnings for the S&P 500. And back then it was like 24. So 23 to 24, like we're pretty similar on a valuation standpoint versus then. So one could conclude that, hey, valuations are a little bit hot right now. Maybe the future expected returns for the market aren't going to be so good simply because so much is already priced into this market. Like, I get it that AI is great. I get it that a lot of these companies are truly making a lot of money. But how much of that is already priced into the current price in the stock market right now? In my opinion, quite a bit. And I just want to remind you about this chart that we've talked about before. This shows you the PE ratio level of the S&P 500, and then it shows you what the future returns were on a 10-year basis. So right now we're roughly around 23. For the subsequent 10 years going forward, what were the average annualized returns? Just think about this. This is for 10 years. Where do we think the stock market's going to go in 10 years from right now? Every single time going all the way back to the 1980s, the future returns for the market at a 23 PE ratio was zero every single time since 1985. Now, maybe this time is different, maybe it's not different, but just by looking at these two charts, the stock market is a little bit expensive, and that warrants us to be very, very careful. So, of course, we have to talk about corporate profits. We're going to talk about interest rates because interest rates right now are a little bit different than what they were in the past. So, we're going to talk about that stuff. And, of course, we're going to talk about how I actually think AI is going to materialize and how this actually could be good for the stock market. But if it doesn't pan out in a way I think it's going to pan out, it could actually be very, very bad for the stock market. So, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself right now. Let's go into corporate profits. Let's see how that's doing because, again, we see the valuations are a little bit hot, but if profits are going to the moon right now, maybe it's justified. So let's just bang through the big dogs that are in the S&P and the Nasdaq right now to really see how their earnings per share is growing. Let's just start off on Nvidia. Of course, explosive earnings per share growth from 2025 until 2028. We're expecting to over double what the earnings per share is going to be. So again, like a lot of growth is coming to Nvidia, and that does help justify the valuation level there. If we go to Meta, another big one where you could see earnings per share growth is definitely on an explosive trajectory going higher. It's not growing as much as Nvidia, but it's not like these companies aren't growing their profits. The profits are going up quite a bit. Let's go over to Alphabet, which is Google. Again, the profits are expected to keep going up, up, and up. Yes, there's a little bit of a stagnation here, it looks like, but overall it's up and to the right. We'll go into Amazon, looks good. We go to Apple, it looks good. We go to Broadcom, it looks good. So yeah, like corporate profits are doing good, and these companies are like the big dogs to carry the S&P and the Nasdaq going forward. But it's like things are good right now. I can't deny the fact that earnings per share growth is very, very good, but you're getting that at the cost of higher valuations. So if earnings per share growth just keeps going up, up, and up, the stock market's probably going to be fine. But again, you're getting that good growth at a cost. You're paying a premium because you're going to get that growth at a higher price earnings ratio level. So if the growth story keeps happening, the market's going to be fine. But if we get any hint of a slowdown or AI not being as good as what people think it's going to be, or someone just saying, hey, I'm not going to buy as many chips, everything is going to change for the stock market because it's built on this idea that we're going to spend a lot of money right now on AI data center build out, and then we're eventually going to get a fat ROI on that money that we spend. And everyone's just kind of betting on that. And if it doesn't actually pan out to be like that, it's going to be like, wow, we just spent all this money on these chips that are probably going to be obsolete in a couple years because it's like, think of like an iPhone, for example. It's not this big of a deal nowadays, but like I remember in the past, like if you were 3 iPhones behind, your phone is pretty much like worthless at that point because there's just a new one that's so much better coming out year after year after year. And we're still in this early stage of AI data center build out, and these chips are getting so much better year after year after year. It's like, what happens when you invest all this money in CapEx right now? And then 3 years down the road, it's like those chips can't even compete right now. I mean, anybody that like mined Bitcoin in the past, like remember you can mine Bitcoin on your computer, like it's impossible to do that now. And these models that are being run right now with AI, they're working good right now on, NVIDIA Blackwell, Grace Blackwell, and stuff like that. And maybe, company buys a lot of that right now and it's working good right now. But as these models get more complex, you might need chips that are going to come out in 3 years from right now. And you're just going to have to keep spending money after money after money into this data center build out. But maybe you just never reap the rewards from that. So in the meantime, this is great for companies like Nvidia and AMD and TSM and really Broadcom for it too, because they're just getting the influx of all this capital. Everyone's just freaking out to build out their data centers and build it as fast as possible. So it's working for those companies. And then it's like, how do I really feel this is going to go down? Like, in my honest opinion, I think that AI data center build out is going to be pretty robust for the next couple years. But eventually we're going to get to a point where we don't need to go from square 0 to square 100 anymore. We're going to go from like square 90 to square 100. It's not just going to be like starting from scratch every single time. And when you realize that, it's like, well, maybe companies like Meta and Google and Amazon and Tesla, maybe they're going to be able to spend less money on CapEx, monetize that data center, and it's going to be double bullish for those companies. So less capital expenditures means more earnings per share. And they're also going to be able to monetize what they spent all this money on. So it is double bullish. I do think that corporate profits might slow down for Nvidia a little bit, but it's going to be very good for the hyperscalers that are implementing all these chips. So overall, yes, valuations are a little bit hot and it's kind of justified in my opinion, but even with all that being said, and it's like, this time is different as what people say, that was also true for the dot-com era and the stock market fell like 50%. So just because this time is different, it doesn't mean the stock market can't fall 50%. So we have to be very careful right now. We have to be careful with leverage. I'll go more into that in a little bit. But now let's dive into interest rates because this is probably the second most important thing besides corporate profits that are really going to dictate where the stock market's going to go. So let's dive into that. So interest rates are 100% critical to what the stock market's actually going to do. Like valuations matter, corporate profits matter, all that stuff is good. But this is really what dictates the tide of what the market's going to do. So this chart right here shows you what interest rates were at going all the way back to 1980 until current. You can see that, believe it or not, June of 1981, interest rates were at 19%, literally 19%, like completely insane. Right now we're at roughly 4%. So the clear trend is down. Like, yes, we had inflation coming out of COVID right here, and we had to raise interest rates to try to bring inflation down. But the trend is clearly down. And I do think that this is going to keep trending down with time as inflation trends down, because I do think that AI is going to be deflationary for the economy. And I'll talk about that in the next section because it could be a major problem actually. But clearly down and to the right. Now, the other chart that we have to overlay on top of this one is going to be what the S&P 500 PE ratio is. So if we look at this, same time frame, you could see that when interest rates were at their peak, the literal PE ratio for the S&P 500 was 6. Right now we're closer to 30, but you could see the trend is clearly up and to the right. As interest rates go down, it's a little bit bumpy of course, the PE ratio level for the S&P 500 is going to go up. So you're going to be like, well, why does that happen? And just in a very simple way, it's like just money wants to get deployed where you could get the best risk adjusted return. So if you could get a 20% CD or a 20% bond in 1980 and you were expected to make 10% per year in the stock market, like nobody on earth is going to put their money in the stock market. Why not go get the guaranteed 20%? But right now it's like, maybe we get 5 to 10% return in the stock market going forward because, valuations are a little bit stretched and it's kind of priced in already. Maybe we get 5 to 10% going forward. But what's your alternative? You could go get a 3 or maybe 4% 10-year bond and sit in that. So it's kind of like a debate right now, but it's definitely not like you're going and getting a 20% bond right now. If that was the case, the stock market would crash like a minimum of 50% like overnight. They're not going to raise interest rates to 20% overnight, but I'm just saying like The market would never be at this valuation level if interest rates were at 20%. So, what I'm getting at is this. I'm in a camp that AI is deflationary. I'm in a camp that AI is going to help with inflation to come down. And when inflation comes down, the Fed starts to feel more comfortable to cut interest rates because the Fed has two jobs: keep inflation in check, keep the labor market strong. As long as inflation stays in check, the Fed's going to be cool to cut interest rates a little bit more. And when they cut interest rates more, bonds and CDs and fixed income stuff like that, the yields are going to be lower and it's going to be way less attractive. When that's less attractive, everybody says, screw that. I'm going to go put my money into the stock market. And that's what supports these higher valuation levels. So if interest rates happen to trend up, the stock market's definitely going to correct a lot. That's exactly what happened in 2023. The market went down like 35% simply because interest rates went up. I'm in a camp that, yes, there's going to be a lot of volatility around interest rates and stuff like that and inflation. But if we look 1 or 2 years down the road from right now, I think that inflation is going to be lower because AI is great. AI is actually taking jobs and making companies more efficient. So that's going to bring deflationary aspects to this economy. And when that happens, rates will go down and they'll help support the stock market's valuation level. So to answer the question of do I think we're in an AI bubble? The answer is no. If we take a look at my account, $1.2 million right now. I'm up $22,000 just today. Let me hit the refresh and see what it's at. 22,000, almost 23,000, and in 2 years, $763,000, up 165%. Are these returns typical right here? To be completely honest with you, no. The market's been ripping, but I've been capitalizing on that. But guess what? As the market gets more expensive, as valuations keep getting a little bit more stretched, I am starting to de-risk my portfolio a little bit. Not saying I'm selling all my stuff, but I have less like options exposure and sold puts and long calls and stuff like that because it gets less compelling as the market gets more expensive. When we're expensive, I want less risk. When we're cheap, I want more risk. So to answer the question of AI and how good this could potentially be for the economy and how bad it could be, it's good in a sense that things are going to become way more efficient within companies, and that's going to translate to more bottom line earnings per share. More earnings per share, more share price. The share price is going to go up. You get it. Share price moves the price of a stock in the long term. But at the same time, these companies are going to be so efficient that they could do more work with less people. So as people get laid off and there's less people working at these companies, they're going to have less money to go spend. So yes, Amazon, for example, is going to become a lot more efficient, but we all know the US economy is a consumer-based economy, and when people spend less money, they're going to spend less money at Amazon. So Amazon, it's kind of like going full circle of we became so efficient that we don't need any people. But now these people that we then laid off because we're now more efficient don't have money to buy the stuff that we sell. So that's something that you have to think about. But overall, at the end of the day, I'm capitalizing, I'm investing in these companies when it makes sense. I'm riding the wave higher. I'm de-risking as we get more expensive. Just being logical when I do this stuff here. So hope you got value from this video. Definitely like and subscribe. And you have to check out my 10-day stocks and options complete transformation if you want to go through it. It's 10 days of training of me teaching you exactly every single thing that you have to know step by step over the course of 10 days. And of course, you'll get Discord access to my entire community. The Discord will blow you away. If you want to check it out, links below. It's free for the first couple days, and I'll see you guys there.